Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video today. We ended up packing a pretty decent Dutch icon card in today's video, but I am going to be answering some questions that you guys generally have from the YouTube comment section, and I'm going to also talk about stuff that people mention in other videos and other forums FIFA related. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Right now, the first topic of discussion is a comment that I saw today, whether or not a game mode like squad battles, is it good or is it bad? So here's the thing about squad battles, guys. I always tell people that I think that squad battles is a very good idea that EA implemented in the idea. I think it's awesome. My only problem with squad battles is that I don't think that squad battles should be getting better rewards than online Division 1 or even draft if you win it for that matter, right? Squad battles has taken away the player base from the online game modes because the online game modes are not good enough. It's not that the squad battles game mode itself is a bad one. It's just because it's taken away players from the other game modes. So you always, like right now, guys, in drafts, I'm literally finding the same people all the time. I'm not finding anybody differently. It's usually in the same similar rounds or whatnot. So it can be frustrating at times, but I do like squad battles being added into the game. I just don't think that the way that it was added was proper. Again, with the concept of foot champs being the only type of gameplay content that you actually get in this game, it can be frustrating at times. You know, the 40 games concept over the weekend is really tiring, which is exactly why I think the game is dying down right now in terms of content creation and just people's interest in the game in general, because you force too much of a competitive aspect on the game when it should be more based off of the casual play and just having fun and trying out different things, right? So that's what I feel like the game should definitely revolve around. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, do I think that Team of the Year Kane is a good player in FIFA? I think Team of the Year Kane is a decent player in FIFA. The thing about Kane that, like, I like using him, like, for fun, I do enjoy using him. I'm actually going to pull up his stats right now. He's a fun card to use, absolutely. My thing with Kane is I think it's his balance that's really low. I could be wrong. I'm going to go ahead and go and search on Footbin. This is the thing that I always mention on Kane, right? So his balance is 74, which can be annoying at times in terms of general movement on the ball. If you give him an engine card, I don't think that it's improved by that much, but even still, the card is a lot of fun to use, man. Like, he doesn't really have the acceleration. He has the sprint speed, which is quite nice, but he's a pretty decent hold-up striker. You can't go wrong with him. 96 passing, 86 long pass is pretty nice. If you're using him in like a 4-3-3 false 9 formation, he's going to work that formation pretty nicely. So yeah, he's a fun card to have, but if you give me a regular Ronaldo, I'm going to choose the regular Ronaldo over the Team of the Year Kane any day of the week. But if you're a fan of Kane's in real life, his finishing is quite consistent. Like, he usually hits the net most of the times. If he's outside of the 18-yard box, he hits those really good, like, 90-degree finesse shots outside the box as well. So definitely a good player, but you know, I wouldn't pay 1,000,000 coins for him, essentially, right? Because nowadays, the way that the market is, it's kind of like going down a little bit. Like, some people in my chat the other day were telling me that a Cristiano Ronaldo is actually cheaper now. He's apparently 979K on the Xbox. That's incredibly cheap. That's like cheaper than it should be. The reason why it's like that now is because of the game dying down a little bit, right? So 979K is not expensive for a Ronaldo in your team, and he's also 1.2 million on the PlayStation 4. The other day when I was looking on PlayStation 4, I was a couple weeks back actually. He was like 1.5 or 4 at one point when I was looking into his card. So the fact that he's 979K on the Xbox right now, it says a lot for sure. But yeah, Ronaldo's card I would definitely use over the Team of the Year Kane, 100%. How do I set up with the 4-3-3 false 9? 4-3-3 false 9 is actually a really good formation. It's actually really nice. If you practice with it a little bit, it's pretty decent because there's a good balance between the CDMs, the center mids, and the center forward. The center forward is the vital player in the squad that really makes it work. That's what I'm saying. If you're using like a Harry Kane in that type of formation as your center forward, he's going to do okay there, right? I've used a Ronaldo in that situation in a draft. where I was using a 4-3-3 false 9, and he was playing that role really well. Instructions really depends, right? So I like using balanced on fullbacks for fun, but I don't like using it if I notice that they're too high up. Because the one thing that I notice with fullbacks is that when I have them unbalanced, they're normally halfway up, and then they're like halfway up from their position. I don't like that, because when that happens, they do easy wide passes through those guys. So a lot of the times I like to have my fullbacks to stay back while attacking, and then as the game progresses, if I realize that maybe adding a player to always overlap or to be on balance attacking maybe would be more preferable, then I would do that, right? But most of the times I like having them on stay back while attacking. The CDM at all times, no matter who I'm using, has to be stay back while attacking in any formation. The center mids really depends, again, on the situation of the game, right? So most of the times I started off on stay back while attacking because their work rates and the tactics that I use sometimes plays more into effect than the instructions that I'm telling them to do. But the stay back while attacking will always help, because if you tell Pogba to stay back while attacking, but he has high medium work rates and your passing is like in the 50s, you have free form on, he's still going to make those attacking runs from time to time, right? Someone like Conte, however, he'll make those attacking runs because your tactics are telling him to, but if you're telling him to stay back while attacking, the medium high will play more into effect, right? So you just got to be very careful with that. So center mids I usually leave on balance. And then I usually leave on stay back while attacking. And then if I realize that I want them to attack from time to time, then I'll tell them to be on balance attacking. The left wing and the right wing, usually I tell them to be unbalanced, or I tell them to come short, because it just depends on the situation, right? When I start off, I always leave them on balance. The center forward, I don't touch either. He's on balance as well. So as the game progresses, I realize, okay, here's a couple of things that I want to change in the team for this to kind of make sense for me. And then I'll just change it around as it goes. I was using the 4-3-3 in today's stream, and I did enjoy using it because it was a formation that was just fun to use. It was different, right? I was using players like Pogba, De Bruyne, and Conte in the midfield, which is a pretty decent midfield to have for the 4-3-3. Not a huge fan of De Bruyne's card. I would definitely prefer his Team of the Year version over the informs and the rare gold card for sure. Same thing kind of goes for Pogba. Like, Pogba's inform cards are good, but his rare golds aren't. But I'm pretty sure I had his inform version. And then Conte is just a pretty solid CDM to have. Someone that I've been kind of sleeping on a little bit because of the height. But the height is still very noticeable in a lot of those like really clutch opportunities. So yeah, that's what I use with the 4-3-3 false 9. It's pretty fun to use. It's not a bad formation at all. Other formations that I would use sometimes, so I think in the draft, sometimes I use the 4-2-3-1. If I'm using the 4-2-3-1, again, the fullbacks are on stay back while attacking, CDM, stay back while attacking. Left mid and right mid, very depending on the situation. I'll start off the game for fun and and put the players to get in behind, and then their defensive support unbalanced. And then the strikers I'll tell to get in behind too, just in case I want that extra attacking presence. But the striker in the beginning is unbalanced, because if you're telling your left mid and your right mid to get in behind, it's better to have your striker on balance so that if you pass the ball off to him, he can lay it off to the guys on the sides making the run, right? So yeah, that's the only other formation that I can remember using right now. 4-1-2-2, 4-3-1-2, all those types of formations can be decent as well. Can I do a review on the Inform Batshuayi card? It's very difficult for me to do a review for certain cards because they're not really the types of videos that people actually care that much to watch, in all honesty, right? So that's a big reason as to why I don't really do player reviews that much. Like, some of the player reviews do well, but then after a certain point, it doesn't really do that well anymore. It's really down to the hype of what's happening in real life. So certain things that I gotta adjust to doing is when something happens like, and I feel like this is very important for YouTube content. I feel like when something interesting happens in real life, I have to do that exact same thing kind of in the game, right? So that's the type of stuff that I want to do for FIFA 19, but it's very difficult for me to do it on FIFA 18 because it's so hard to come up against like different players and stuff. So very difficult for me to do. But for instance, like something that's a little bit hyped right now is Ibrahimovic's debut for LA Galaxy. Like, I can make a team that has, like, if I really grinded out the game, I could do like content with like an MLS team, have Ibrahimovic in it, Alessandrini, Kaká, and just have fun with it, right? So it's very difficult, very, very difficult to come up with content nowadays because there's really not much to go by right now. because I thought they would do something for Easter, whether it was like a League SBC or Easter cards, but they ended up not doing any of that, which was a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is at the same time. How was Hullet when you tried him out? Hullet was actually quite nice. Like, he was a nice card to use. I enjoyed using him. It's whether or not he's worth it is completely different with other people, right? But I mean, he's the full meta center mid. He's full meta cam. If you're using him as a cam, he'll play disgusting as well. Because the thing that people don't really look at that much is that it's nice to have a cam that actually can defend as well. So I guess it's just the way that I see this. I was playing a draft earlier today, right? And I had the inform. It was the inform version of Jordi Alba's card, and the way that the draft team was kind of working out, I was like, I don't like the left mid I have right now because Heung-min Son's rare gold card, the regular one, is really trash, right? So I'm like, okay, I want to put Jordi Alba there on the left mid side because he's left-footed. When I put Jordi Alba there, I realized how much I liked players actually having defensive stats as a midfielder as well as attacking stats. So I think using someone like Jordi Alba's left mid card would actually be a viable card to use just in general if I was using like a 4-2-3-1. Because not only do you have one left back, but you have two left backs. And I think that like on the sides, but they can actually attack, right? If you're using like a Team of the Year Marcelo as a left mid, he'll do pretty decently as a left mid because he can actually attack, right? And he also has the 4-star. So I've come to the realization that those are the types of players that I thoroughly enjoy using quite a lot, right? So I feel like if certain team of the seasons come out and there's a lot of cards that like right mids and right backs that actually have good attacking and defensive stats, it's very nice to use because when I was using Jordi Alba, I was like, wow, it's really nice to have. He didn't have the shooting because his inform card is his shooting is not that great. Like his FUT birthday card has better shooting, right? But when I was using his inform, like, wow, it actually feels really nice to have someone this speedy and quick on the ball and off the ball so I can actually defend that side a little bit better, right? It's kind of like having a Team of the Year Conte on those sides, right? Someone that can attack and defend really well, right? When I'm using left mids and right mids, I always feel like just the attacking aspect isn't good enough because defensive stats are so important in FIFA if you want to actually have your left mids and right mids do anything defensively. Like, the only players that actually feel like they make a difference are the people like Jordi Alba's FUT birthday card or even his informs, or even if you're subbing in informs that have like great pace and all that stuff like Dani Alves. Dani Alves is a very good example that could possibly be a really sick right mid, right? So I would definitely recommend you guys trying that out because it was a very interesting playstyle to actually have players that are good defensively and attacking wise as they push up the field. I got Baby Haji for 100k because of how many untradables I had. Do you think that it is worth it? If you have untradables in your squad and you got Haji as one of your untradables, that's not bad at all. That's actually quite solid because there's so many bad icons that you can get that are the baby versions of icons like Inzaghi and all those guys. Like, you can get some terrible cards. So Baby Haji is not a terrible card by any means. He's a very usable card. So it would just be really cool to have that in your team in terms of like having some sort of a meta in your squad. Like, not really that much meta, but just a fun player that's usable, essentially, right? So yeah. Have I ever tried the 84 Lozano card? I actually haven't ever tried. I think I have. I think I've tried it maybe once. Maybe once. I don't remember exactly, but like, dude, I barely ever get informed because I play a lot of drafts, right? If I were to try out the card, then I'll have to buy the card and then I would have to use them as a super sub and blah, 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 right? But I've never actually used the card because I play so much drafts that like I kind of hope that I get certain players as selections to truly try them out, right? So I was using, I think it was I was playing drafts and I've been doing so many drafts recently. Some people actually get the Prime Ronaldo as a draft, and I've done like probably 15 drafts or so in the last like 3 days, maybe more. And I haven't really gotten like that Ronaldo. And there's this one guy that I faced who's being a douchebag, but regardless, there's this one guy that I faced that actually had the Ronaldo in his team, and I was like, wow, he's actually a selection this week. So I thought that was really interesting to see, but unfortunate that I couldn't actually get the card, but it is what it is, right? Um, let's see what else we got. I think you should just buy a mega team now because the game is coming towards the back end of the year. Plus, Fortnite is etc. is making everyone stop. I think the concept of just buying a mega team is just it's boring now. Listen to the reason as to why it's boring, right? If you're the type of person that grinded out foot champs, right? By the way, I can't even afford a super team because I didn't really grind out foot champs in the beginning, right? But if you can, right? It's very situational as to whether or not it's worth buying a full meta for the fun aspect, because if you just keep using full meta all the time, it could get a little bit annoying because you're playing 40 games with the same team over and over again, right? And then you want to use a full meta to play Division 1. I don't know, man. For me personally, like, I have this huge thing that even if I beat a guy 5-0 all the time, I don't like coming up against the same person. So sometimes when I'm playing drafts and I'm streaming, someone will come, I'll leave against the guy, and people will be like, why did you leave against that guy? And it's be like, because I literally faced him 2 hours ago. And it's like, oh, it's because you lost. No, it's because I faced him 2 hours ago. I don't want to face the same person. I actually haven't lost in my drafts. I've lost one game in my drafts, the one that was like lagging like crazy. I lost one game in drafts in the last like maybe around 15, something like that, right? And I get that all the time where people are always asking like if I leave because of the person I'm facing, and it's just not the case. It is the case, but it's the case of not wanting to face them because I don't want to face the same exact dude all the times, right? So yup. What else do we got here? What's the best formation to start off FIFA with? Best formation to start the game off with is the 4-3-2-1, because if you switch to the 4-3-2-1, you have so much to work with that formation, because you can switch to a 4-2-3-1, you can switch to a 4-1-2-2 bracket 2. Like, there's so much that you can switch to. There's so much that you can switch to make the game a little bit more just better for yourself, right? So that's what I would say to that. Have I ever tried Kimmich at CDM? Kimmich at CDM. I think Kimmich, I don't know what his work rates are, actually. Let me see what Kimmich's work rates are. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Footbin over here. Kimmich, he might be a decent CDM. I'm not really sure. I don't think he has the height, though, so I feel like that'd be a little bit of an annoyance. Let's see. So he has a Team of the Group stage card. That's 88 rated, 79 pace, 77 shooting, and 91 dribbling, 88 defending, 83 physical, 93 passing. What's his work rates? His work rates are medium defensive, high attacking. Yeah, see, I don't know. This card looks more like a center mid. You know, like if you're using this card as a center mid, I feel like you'd be quite decent actually, because 85 acceleration with 73 sprint speed, but being 94 agility with 94 bounce would actually be quite nice to have as a center mid. But would I use him as a CDM? I don't know. Very situational. Like his shooting isn't terrible. 88's composure with 75 finishing isn't bad for someone that you're going to be playing as either a center mid or a CDM, right? So definitely worth a try for sure, but I don't know if the 5'9" height would affect you that much. It really depends on your game style for sure. But, I mean, this dribbling looks quite decent, so he actually looks like a solid card. You would definitely have to give him a Hunter, I would say, because his defensive stats are already quite nice. So it'd be nice to have a player that can actually attack as well. I also noticed that he also has a 4-star weak foot, which is quite nice to have as well. So definitely a solid thing. Do you recommend using teams that don't have any defensive stats in the center mid area? It's not that I don't completely recommend it. I mean, dude, I have a PlayStation team, right, where I was using Anthony Martial as a left mid, and I was just having fun with it, right? Because the thing about being too meta oriented is that you won't really have too much fun playing the game. So I was using like Martial as a center mid, and he was doing a decent job for me. The thing is that it's when you start thinking about the full meta in FIFA and trying to be as perfect as you possibly can in your gameplay, someone like Anthony Martial is not going to be ideal to have as a center mid, because those defensive stats and those physical stats make a huge difference in those really close encounters where you actually need players to be able to do that, right? Because players who don't have a minimum of like 75 interceptions will not intercept a ball that's literally 2 feet away from them. It's really annoying, but that's just how it works, right? Because they want to really put the emphasis on a player that actually does have really good interception stats. So, again, very, very situational. What do you think is the most meta formation this year? I tell this to people all the time. I think that the most meta formation to use this year is whatever you think is the most meta formation to use this year. So I know it's a very generic answer, but it's true, right? There's no best formation anymore. Back in the day, man, it used to be like 4-1-2-1-2s and I would say, well, even nowadays, they're still okay. The best formations are the 4-1-2-1-2 and the 4-2-3-1. Those are the two best formations. But I've seen people do work with a false 9. I've seen people do work with a 3 at the back formation. I've seen people do work with a 5 at the back formation. Very, very dependent on your playstyle, man. Some things just work differently for everyone, right? If something works for you and it doesn't work for somebody else, you shouldn't bash a person that it's not working for them. You shouldn't tell like, oh, you're not doing it right, because sometimes it's just not the case, right? There's certain players that people absolutely love to use that I just don't like using. So very, very situational. I keep saying very situational at the end. I think that's my brain's way of processing. All right, next question, you know? So when I say right or like or any of those types of words, it's just like processing the next question that's about to be asked. Oh, one situation that I actually kind of want to talk about right now is the Ibrahimovic inform. That's probably going to happen because, I mean, his performance with LA Galaxy was quite decent, right? If he gets an inform card, I hope that they give him better stat boost and acceleration, sprint speed. Like, I'm talking like at least +3s, right? But the balance, I really hope they give him at least like 55 balance, because 42 balance is so annoying with him. But if they give him like 55 balance and they increase his acceleration and his sprint speed in the areas of the 3s, then I definitely feel like it would be worth trying out for sure, because that's his slow dribbling is the thing that irks you so much, right? And the fact that if his acceleration and his sprint speed is that low, so be it, right? But the balance being that low is so annoying, right? Because I don't think in real life he actually has 42 balance. He's actually quite a balanced player in real life. Not like a crazy balanced player, but I feel like he deserves at least a 55 or a 60, not 42. 42 is just way too low. And that 42 balance is on his foot miss card as well. So I definitely feel like they need to improve certain aspects of his game for sure. At least the balance part, just to make the player a little bit more usable, in my opinion. Let's see what else we got here. I want to try the base icon upgrade SBC. Is it worth it? I mean, if you can do it for cheap, then I would say it's worth it. Like, let's just say you have like untradables in your team and you just want to have fun with the game. Like, you like using all these different types of players. Dude, honestly, do the SBC. It's a lot of fun to do. If you're trying to save money and you're one of those guys that want to make a better team, then no, it's not worth it. Unless you're, because here's the thing, right? A lot of the prime icons need icons to be able to actually make the prime icons, right? I know a lot of little tongue twisters there, but it's true. Some of the icons need needs icon cards in general for you to do those SBCs. So if they require icons, sometimes, depending on the situation, it's actually cheaper for you to go do the baby icon SBC so that you can trade towards getting these crazy prime icon cards in your team. Some of the prime icons are not worth getting in an untradeable way, right? But if you buy them on the market, then it's worth it. So it's very, very situational with you, man. I would say maybe for the fun concept, I will always say yes. I think it's great for the fun concept for sure. I never bothered to learn body feint before now. Body feint, the regular body feint isn't that great, man. It's actually not that effective because what they do is they make the ball bounce and you lose acceleration as you're doing the body feint. Because the thing about FIFA's skill moves, right, is that it's all about the acceleration on the ball when you complete the skill move, right? So nowadays you notice that people don't really use the Burba spin that much. They use that new skill move that instead of going forward to the side, they go backwards to the side. That skill move has a little bit better acceleration and control on the ball than the Burba spin does. And that's a 4-star skill move, right? I think the Magidi spin is the best one, but the problem with the Magidi spin is that it's a 5-star skill and it's a little bit less consistent than, you know, just doing like a Burba spin and stuff, right? So it's, you can do it if you play the game enough. You kind of have a general feel of when he's going to do a McGiddy spin, but if you're somewhat new to the game or you're getting used to it, it's very difficult to kind of understand exactly when they're going to do it most of the times. Are you getting bored of Ultimate Team? If that's the case, you might as well just sell all your players and wait for Team of the Season. I think a lot of people are bored with the game, but whether or not it's worth selling your players is very, very up to the person, right? I never tell people because I don't really understand. It's not that I don't understand the market. I understand it. I don't care to do it because I don't like chilling in the transfer market. Like when I'm playing FIFA, I want to actually play games to enjoy myself, right? So if I don't play, well, I say that, but then the gameplay annoys me a lot of the times. But that's the point of me playing video games. Like, I don't like playing a video game and then I'm in the main lobby or whatever more than I am actually playing the game. Like if I'm playing Monster Hunter, I don't want to be in the area of where I'm building all my armor. I'd rather be actually playing and fighting monsters. Like I'm just that type of person, right? I actually care about the gameplay part more than I care about the off gameplay part. But off gameplay is still very important in a video game. It's something that I used to mention all the time back in the day. And in all fairness to EA, they have introduced a lot of really cool cards this year, but not really a lot. More like, it's, people say this, but it's more about the FUT birthday cards than it is about anything else. The FUT birthday card, in my honest opinion, was the only good the only good promo because they did position changes and they actually gave them significant stat boosts that actually make the players really good, right? That was the only promo that was actually worth doing. The Halloween promo is really annoying because most of those players, even if you give them stat boosts, the only card that can be really good is probably like a Kareem Benzema because of Gareth Bale, Ronaldo, and all that stuff. Some of those Halloween cards are not even worth doing because the way that the card selections that they made for those Halloween cards, like I get that they only do it during special occasions, whether it's like a full moon or whatever it is, but they should give better stats or better cards, like special cards for cards that aren't even used that much. Like a Vincent Company is a good player in real life. He should have a better card in real life in the game, right? He has the Halloween card. When it gets upgraded, he actually has some decent stats on it. 75 pace, good defending, good physical stats. That's what it should be in general. So let's just say, for instance, if you have a promo for Easter, make a card like Company really good. You got a Belgium Man City EPL player there, right? People can make some sick teams with that. If you want to make more players that are players that people use, you can even give Martial a special version of his card. You can give Herrera a special version of his card. You can give players who don't even have that great stats but are amazing in real life. You can give Iniesta some good card stats. Like actually give him some defensive and physical stats so he's not a garbage player in the game, right? Do the same thing with David Silva. Do the same thing with Ozil. Make these players a little bit more usable, right? You can do just a random promo where you can put whatever cards you want. You did that with their FUT birthday promo, right? Where you get them in their position changes that they used to be, and then you just work around with that and have fun with it. That's what I feel like FIFA needs to focus on and have a little bit more fun with in general. But that is going to conclude the video for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys enjoy it by the end of it, please drop a thumbs up on it. I really do appreciate it. Let's get on with the icon pack opening. Nose pack. $89 rated is really good though, eh? Like if you want to do like the prime icons. Not bad.